I'm Caroline Dowd-Higgins. Thank you for listening to Your Working Life, my podcast series featuring thought leaders in the career and personal growth arena. You spend a significant portion of your life at work, so I'm on a mission to provide you with tools, inspiration, and resources so you can enjoy your career and love your life. And I'm delighted to welcome my very special guest to the show today, Bob LaBombard. Bob, welcome. I'm delighted to have you on the show.
Oh, thanks so much, Caroline. I'm very happy to be here.
I am too, because you are going to be talking about the class of 2015. But I want to tell our audience a little bit about you, and then we're going to launch into a juicy conversation. You are the CEO of GradStaff, an outsourced college recruiting firm based in Minneapolis, Minnesota, with offices in 10 U.S. cities. GradStaff serves as a career matchmaker, helping companies find the ideal fit for open entry-level positions, while also helping recent college grads discover how those transferable skills and abilities translate into the workforce. The company exclusively fills entry-level positions, a unique specialty based on years of working with hiring managers and recent graduates. And as you know, the class of 2015 has been unleashed, so they, I bet, are eager to hear more about you. How did you get started with GradStaff, Bob? Tell me that story.
Yeah. My partner, actually, David Warehouser, started the business back in 1998, and he and I are connected based on David, my partner, being a silent investor in my prior company. And after I sold that company in the late 90s, he and I communicated, and I learned a lot about the grad staff concept, and it really appealed to me. And at that time, he did buy out his partner because they had a difference of opinion on how to take the company forward. And so I bought in 2002 and have been leading the organization since that time.
And I think it's such a wonderful niche because obviously recruiters and search organizations have been around for a good long time, but very few, thankfully, your company, GradStaff, focuses on the entry-level professional.
Yeah, it took us a while to get there, but we started doing research in the about 10 years ago about why clients use this, and it's actually a funny story because as we talked to our clients and asked them why in fact they did use us, we heard a fairly common refrain, and that was, "We use you guys because you make college recruiting very easy because it's really a pain in the blank for us."
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
And especially for small and medium employers who don't hire a lot at the entry level, we've built one integrated college recruiting program on behalf of all of our clients. So we just make it very easy to get access to this college grad community.
That's great. And as we know, the millennial population is going to be 50% of the workforce in 2020, which is right around the corner. So this entry level population is really our future leaders.
Oh, absolutely. And we've been, predicting this for quite some time. Unfortunately, the economy's been so soft, we really haven't noticed the impact here until just really the last year. And actually, almost as we speak, the millennials have passed the boomers in terms of being the largest component of the workforce.
It's a different world. So let's drill down, Bob. So what can these new 2015 grads expect as they begin looking for jobs after graduation?
Yeah, I think the market has obviously improved over the years. 2009 was, the nadir of the market, and it's gradually gotten better every year. And with the unemployment rate now at 5.4%, I think it bodes well for new grads coming into the market. However, having said that, though, it's still not easy, and I think the entry-level job search is probably the toughest job search that many of us will encounter. And I think one of the things about that 5.4% unemployment rate is the fact that I think it's somewhat deceptive because a lot of people who have jobs are underemployed, and that definitely applies to a lot of new grads over the past, a year or two. So I think the question for 2015 grads is not whether I'll have a job, but will I be able to find a professional job taking advantage of my skills and my education?
Right. And it's tough, especially for those who have earned advanced degrees, whether it's an MBA or a law degree or any one of the professional degrees or a master's or PhD. They are most often very much in debt.
Right. Yeah. The decision to go to graduate school is a much more difficult one than it was certainly 10 years ago. And I think that a lot of the professional markets in law, business, psychology, I think there's an oversupply of people with graduate degrees, which makes it hard for the economy to absorb everybody into the marketplace.
Right. I was a director of our career development office at our law school at Indiana University for 7 years. So I absolutely understand the supply and demand of lawyers in this economy, and we're still a bit oversaturated.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an unfortunate characteristic of the market, but if you're an undergrad or have graduated and considering law school, it's something you definitely have to consider in terms of making that investment.
Right. So, Bob, let's talk about some of the obstacles that these new graduates are facing as they begin their job search.
Yeah, as part of our business, we interview new grads in terms of placing them with our client companies, but we survey all the graduates that do interview with us, and we found some really interesting things. And first of all, based on our research, we know that only about 20% of new grads are actively engaged in their job search during their senior year. In terms of a statistic that says only 20% of them are actually using career services actively in their job search. And surprisingly, 42% the people applying with us say that they visited career services rarely or never. And so what this indicates is that a lot of grads are pushing off their job search until after they graduate. And so that's one key factor. Another key statistic is that 70% of the candidates that interview with us say that they don't know where their education and skills can be applied in the workforce, which basically means they don't know what jobs are fit for them. And so as they look at job postings and so forth, they just don't know what jobs there are a good fit for their skill sets. And finally, I think the other key thing is that here just in the last 3 months, over 90% of the new jobs created have been created by employers of 500 employees or less. And in fact, in May it was 93%, and in April it was 98%. And that small and medium employer market, they offer great opportunities, but I can definitely say that most new grads know absolutely nothing about that market.
It's fascinating. I'm not shocked at all to hear you talk about the aversion to career services. And having lived in that world as a professional, in the career coach seat for undergrads and graduate students, it's true. It's rampant university wide, or should say nationally, not just, school by school. Do you think that's something that we can change? And will that make the candidates more empowered when they get to you?
Yeah, I think there's a couple different things here, and I think that my baby boomer generation, has been accused of being helicopter parents, and I think the basic point is that I think most baby boomers have developed a close relationship with their children over the years, much closer than perhaps past generations. But I think there's a very close relationship there, and I think one of the reasons why candidates are pushing off job search until after graduation is because of the desire to do maybe some family travel after they graduate, or just spend some time with the family before they get serious about their job search, and their parents are enabling that basically. So that's one key factor. But I think the more important point I think I'd like to make here is that I think that colleges need to be more aggressive at pushing information and job search tools out to the candidates. And I really think they need to make this a mandatory part of the curriculum. If not in coursework, certainly in some kind of online training as they go through the years, because they're not getting the information, primarily because they're not seeking it, but they need to have this information to be successful.
I agree. It's an option in so many academic units, right? And I think that's dangerous. I think students are are overwhelmed sometimes, and career services just doesn't seem like they they want to take that dose of reality. They want to put it off as long as possible.
Right, that's absolutely true. Now, and another point I'd like to make is that career services does some wonderful work out there, but I think that if you look at their missions, across the colleges and universities across the country, I think it tends to be focused very much on career counseling
Yeah,
and identifying, skills and so forth. All that's important, but I think the aspect that they're missing is becoming really what we do, and that's a market maker. And I think that as I look at career services, they really don't know much about where the jobs are being
I
created in the
agree.
economy,
Hmm.
and they need to do a better job of connecting students with those types of employers.
I agree. It's very surface oriented. You scratch the surface, you get the resume ready, you hope you prep them for a general interview, but they just don't have the breadth and depth and frankly the bandwidth to be able to do what you're doing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I
So,
think that's
so
definitely true.
Bob, let's talk a little bit about an academic discipline or a major and how important that is in finding a job. I'm imagining the new grad who just got back from the graduation festivities and is sitting in mom's living room saying, "Okay, what do I do with a psychology major right now?"
Right. Yeah, I'm a liberal arts major. I went to Williams College in Massachusetts. I'm a chemistry major, but never set foot in a laboratory. And I'm a really good example of the importance of identifying your transferable skills. And so I'm a person that I think communicates well and very, very competitive. I like sports. And so business was a perfect fit for me. And but I think that so major is not really all that important is the key point because you don't go to college necessarily to get a job alone. I mean, it's an important part of it, but you also go to college to develop interests in terms of music or theater or other courses of study. And you also go there just to gain knowledge, to be a good citizen, to be a contributor to society. And so, given that, we encourage people to major in whatever area that they have an interest in. But the most important thing during college is to really hone those transferable skills that do have value in the workforce. And those are things like communication skills, time management, critical thinking, problem solving, and so forth. And so you need to take a rigorous course load that will help you develop those skills because those are the things that our employers are really, really interested in.
Well, you're speaking my language. I'm smiling ear to ear. I agree 100%. So, Bob, help me understand the business model that you have with GradStaff. How soon do you work with the students? Do they have to have minted their degree proper? What's the point of entry with you, or is your audience really just the employers? Help me understand that
Yeah, so
process.
we act as the intermediary between the new grad and the employer, and we do truly function as a matchmaker. What drives our business is the employer engaging us to find the grads that they want to hire at the entry level. And we specifically focus on those small and medium employers from about 50 employees to about 2,000 employees. So they're big enough to hire multiple positions, but they're not so big where they can justify developing their own college recruiting program. And we've developed, again, one comprehensive college recruiting network encompassing more than 900 colleges to service those hiring companies. And so, but at the same time, we're also doing recruiting from our 900 college relationships, as well as a lot of online recruiting to get resume flow from primarily graduating seniors.
Okay.
And as we get those resumes in, we screen them, and ultimately ends up in us doing an interview with a candidate where we help them identify their transferable skills and do a career exploration to look at things in their past that might predict what they'd be good at in the future. And then we become very truly a matchmaker for the positions we have open with our client companies. We find the appropriate candidates with the right transferable skills and the right interest to fit that position.
So does Jane Doe, the new 2015 graduate listening, contact you directly, or does she go through her school or her mom that's listening who is excited about your service? How does the candidate get to you, or do
Yeah,
you have
so
to seek them out?
right. So there's a lot of different ways, and we encourage candidates to get in contact with us in the most convenient way possible. But typically we do get referrals from colleges. We do get referrals from parents. friends of people we've placed will refer people to us. And so the key thing is to either apply to a posting on a college website or on Indeed or Career Builder or whatever, simply hired. Or you can just go to our website and we have all of our positions posted there as well. So there's a variety of means to get to us. And our website is gradstaff.com.
So nice and simple, gradstaff.com. So the
Yeah.
individual does have an entry point. They don't necessarily have to have that school affiliation, although with 900 it sounds like you've got good coverage.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it's in our basic message is that because we don't place everybody that applies with us, and we're very upfront about that. However, when a candidate applies with us and they go through our interviewing process, they're gonna learn a lot about what it takes to be successful in a job search. So regardless of whether we find them a job or not, they're going to have benefited from the interaction with us, so they can go out and do their own job search. And typically within 60 days, a candidate will either get a job through us or on their own.
That's great. That's a great return. So let's talk about fit, because I know so many enthusiastic young professionals also have that air of desperation where I need the job now, and they don't always go for the best fit. So can you talk to that a bit?
Yeah, that's a very important point because we know that when a new grad finds a job on their own, 70% of them will leave that job within 2 years. And most of those will probably have left in the first year, if not 6 months. And the reason for that is, because they feel the pressure to pay back student loans and get income coming in, they'll take oftentimes the first thing that's offered. And we certainly understand that dynamic. And what we're trying to do is help them, get employed quickly, but hopefully with a position that better matches their skill sets. And so in terms of this process, I mean, what's really key here is working with the new grad to identify these transferable skills. And so what we do is implement an interviewing technique, which is called the behavioral-based interview, where we ask them a number of open-ended questions to have them demonstrate real-life examples where they've had to apply critical thinking skills or time management or leadership, effective communication, and so forth. And through those answers, and there's about 15 different skill areas that we look at, we rate those answers versus the other people we've interviewed. And ultimately, with most candidates, they'll have 3 or 4 things that really set them apart. And we'll tell the candidate that, and so they know, from our perspective, what they bring to the table in terms of value. And then we advise the candidate to as they look at job descriptions, to find those positions that take advantage of those skills that they have that are valuable and that they're good at. And those are the types of positions that they should be focusing on and applying for.
So it sounds like there's a lot of individual and customized coaching that happens with each client.
Yeah, absolutely, no question about it. Each person's definitely unique, and the other thing we do too is educate them into the wide variety of positions that are out there. And I can go on all day about this, but we do a lot of business in the insurance industry, and most people roll their eyes when they hear about insurance, but it's a really fascinating industry, and it's really sophisticated because especially when you look at the commercial insurance market, when you're helping companies deal with the various risks they have to deal with, from workers' compensation to property damage to environmental liability to employment practices liability and so forth, managing risk is a very difficult thing, very sophisticated. There are great career opportunities there. And so that's some of the matching we do. And most candidates that come in and interview with us, don't even know they exist.
Right. They would have had no idea. Yeah.
Exactly. And there are similar stories in financial services, logistics, healthcare. We do a ton of work in healthcare. So it's a whole bunch of industries where there's great jobs. But again, most new grads coming out of college don't have that perspective to know what opportunities are out there.
Well, perception is everything. And I think often the young candidates are naive about the opportunities. So you're really debunking the myths. I know how robust the opportunities are in the insurance industry, for example. So how exciting to introduce them to ways to match their skills and strengths with these
Right.
roles.
Yeah, and it's so fun to get a card or an email back from a candidate saying, "I wouldn't have thought of this job
Yeah,
in a million years, but it's a perfect fit.
that's
Thank you
great.
so much." So that's
That's
really
got to
fun.
be gratifying. I'm sure you get cards from the parents too.
Yeah,
saying-
yeah, absolutely.
That's fantastic. So, Bob, let's wrap up and tell us again how we can reach out, right? I know you've got some great social media platforms linked to your website, but it sounds like the best way is directly to gradstaff.com. Is that
Yeah,
right?
we have a very robust website recently redesigned, and so there's really again two parts of it. One dedicated to the job seeker, the new grad, and we walk the candidates through our program and give a lot some of the advice that we've given today, and then we also have a component for the hiring company and highlighting the benefits we provide to them. And so, yeah, GradStaff, GradStaff.com is a good place to go. And then all of our social media stuff will be on there as well.
Fantastic. Well, Bob, what a joy to have you on. Perfect timing, ready for the newly minted grads of the class of 2015. And I'm delighted to get to know you. I know I will be sending people your way and employers as well so they can tap your wonderful, wonderful resources. So thank you so much for sharing your time and expertise.
Oh, thank you so much, Carolyn. I really appreciate it.
Be well, and I hope our paths cross again soon.
Yep, thanks so much.
Thanks, Bob. And I want to thank our listeners for tuning into Your Working Life, where my goal is to help you design your career destiny so it doesn't happen by default. True career and life satisfaction is possible, and it's time to embrace what you love doing so you can do more of it. I'm Caroline Dowd-Higgins. Take good care.